The DWAYYO is a regional creature legend associated primarily with Prince George's County, Maryland, particularly near the rural woodlands of Clinton, Upper Marlboro, and the Patuxent River Basin. Unlike older Appalachian or colonial-era monsters, the DWAYYO appears to be a modern local legend, emerging in the mid to late 20th century rather than deep colonial folklore. It is often described as a large, upright, canine-like creature, muscular and covered in fur, sometimes seen walking on two legs, reportedly aggressive. The legend has strong similarities to werewolf lore, but lacks historical documentation prior to the 1900s. Origins of the name. The word DWAYYO does not appear in colonial archives, indigenous lexicons, or early Maryland folklore collections. Most researchers believe the name likely evolved from a localized variation of werewolf, a corruption of older European wolfman folklore, or simply a coined term meant to sound archaic. Its linguistic structure does not clearly trace back to Algonquian languages of the region, which suggests it is not an indigenous origin legend, but rather a later adaptation. The first recorded reports, mid to late 1900s, most references to the DWAYYO begin appearing in 1960s to 1980s regional folklore collections, local oral storytelling traditions, paranormal newsletters, and small press books. Unlike colonial monster legends, such as the Jersey Devil, there are no 18th or 19th century newspaper accounts describing a creature by that name. Descriptions usually involve a tall wolf-like creature stalking rural roads, livestock disturbances, sightings near wooded highways at night. These reports increased during a period when suburban development began encroaching on rural Maryland farmland. Physical description. Across accounts, the DWAYYO it is typically described as 6 to 7 feet tall when upright, covered in dark fur with a canine head, sometimes with glowing or reflective eyes, muscular, broad-shouldered. Some reports describe it running on 4 legs before rising onto 2. This description closely mirrors traditional European werewolves, modern dogman cryptid, reports, Bigfoot-like posture but canine facial structure. Environmental context, Prince George's County, particularly in the 1970s to 1990s, contained large wooded areas, expanding suburban neighborhoods, increasing traffic on rural highways, wildlife populations, including deer and coyotes. Nighttime deer sightings in headlights often produce reflected eye shine, distorted silhouettes, illusions of upright posture. Additionally, coyotes and large dogs can appear unusually tall when viewed at odd angles or from vehicles. The DWAYYO legend flourished during a period when suburban expansion was transforming farmland, rural identity was fading, interest in cryptids was growing nationwide. The 1970s and 1980s saw a surge in Bigfoot sightings, dogman reports in Michigan urban legends, spreading via word of mouth and small publications. The DWAYYO fit squarely into this wave of regional cryptid storytelling. Comparison to other regional creatures. The DWAYYO is frequently compared to the Beast of Bray Road, Wisconsin, Michigan dogman, classic European werewolves. What distinguishes the DWAYYO is not anatomy, but geography. It became Maryland's version of a broader archetype. Rather than a unique biological claim, it appears to be a localized adaptation of an existing myth pattern. Lack of physical evidence. To date, there has been no recovered biological material, no verified tracks, no consistent photographic evidence, no documented livestock. Kills conclusively linked law enforcement agencies in the region have never classified DWAYYO reports as wildlife threats, beyond normal animal misidentification. Psychological explanations. Several explanations likely account for sightings. Deer standing on hind legs, coyotes seen briefly in headlights, large dogs or wolf-dog hybrids, shadow distortion in wooded roadways, memory reinforcement after hearing the legend. Studies in perception show that once a regional legend becomes known, ambiguous sightings are often interpreted through that lens. Realistic conclusion. Historically and realistically, the DWAYYO appears to be a late 20th century regional urban legend, influenced by broader werewolf and dogman folklore, reinforced by suburban-rural boundary anxieties, sustained by oral storytelling and cryptid culture. There is no credible biological or forensic evidence supporting the existence of an unknown canine humanoid species in Maryland. However, the DWAYYO remains culturally significant as a reflection of local identity, a product of transitional landscapes, a modern evolution of ancient wolfman mythology,